a time in like 2018 or 19 when Tyler White pitched for them and actually looked competent? The fact that over the past year and some change you've said so many words to me and none of them have made me feel the slightest bit better is kind of impressive if I'm being honest with you. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 13 of the regular season where the Astros lose 11-12 to the Kansas City Royals. And in so doing, guarantee a series loss to the Royals. They will try to salvage a game tomorrow. And that's it. I've said this before with like hockey games and probably with Astros games. Sometimes the box score is the story. You don't need me for anything. They got killed. They got shellacked. It was 11-2. It was seemingly good for a minute. It was, nothing heading into the middle of the third inning. And hey, it wasn't too bad. Spencer Argueta was looking pretty competent through 2 innings. And you thought, hey, okay, maybe he can. Oh, dear God. Third inning comes along, gives up 7 runs, all of which were earned. And I will tell you the same with him as I said a couple of nights ago. Except it's worse for Argueta. I mean, it's probably the 13th or 14th pitcher down on the depth chart. It's not funny because it's players that have been injured, and then what it is forcing the Astros to do is call up players who simply are not ready for Major League Baseball and having their worlds get shattered. It's not fun to see this happen, where players who have grinded away in the minors for forever finally get their chance to come up to the big leagues and then just get killed. It sucks to see. It hurts to see Argueta get shelled. I don't want to see that. I'm not going to sit here and punch at him because, oh man, the pitcher who had not elite numbers in AAA couldn't put up elite numbers in literally the highest level of the sport in the world. How dare he? I'm not going to throw shots at him. The bullpen wasn't great. They gave up 4 runs, but also it was 4 runs over 6 innings, which isn't terrible. And 3 of them came from Parker Mashinsky. And look, with Parker Mashinsky, he's a long relief guy that is going to give up runs. He's a garbage time pitcher. He's been that for a while. Belak went a couple innings, picked up a couple of strikeouts. You had Taylor Scott throw a third of an inning in relief. Big Taylor Scott night. I have just such a hard time beating up on the pitching staff right now when it continues to get worse and worse and worse with the injuries. You've missed starts now this season from guys that are being paid by the club. And that's a little unfair because we knew we weren't getting Luis Garcia back. But Luis Garcia, Jose Urquidy, Justin Verlander, Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, Lance McCullers Jr., those 6 guys right there are a very good rotation. That is easily a playoff caliber rotation. Maybe not, the peak of the American League, but that's a playoff rotation. And they're all gone. And you can say, Weston, stop crying foul about injuries. It happens to everybody. And I understand that it happens to everybody. But it usually happens over the full course of a year. This usually, you might find some teams this injury riddled in late August. And it will be in different pieces. One of your guys will miss time in June, and then another one in July. One guy might miss the start of the season. One guy might miss a part of May. They're down a full rotation. They're having to dig so deep down into the minors. And this is the result. And I'm just not going to light the pitching staff up. And if you want to talk about the offense, and you might call me a hypocrite, and hell, maybe I am a hypocrite. I'm not going to say that I'm not. Because I might be. I might just be clouded right now. I might just be in such a, like, depressed mood that I'm not thinking normally. But I look at this game in which the offense and just the team in general, they didn't look, and this is a thing that I've talked about with the whole playing like entitled players, and when the going gets tough, they just act like whatever. This didn't even feel like they were playing entitled baseball. This felt like they were, as a collective, out of gas. They looked just mentally destroyed. And not in a way that I can blame them for. They looked just mentally exhausted. That you're only 13 games in and you're this injury riddled. And I can't blame them. Like, again, one of those injuries to your big guys. Like, losing one of your four, I'll put it like that, because I would put Javi in that conversation. Like, top-end starters, it's a big blow. It's a really big blow. Losing two of them is that's awful. Like, you lose your 1-2 punch, that's really bad. But when you lose a third one, how can you recover? And, like, there are guys that have been awful all year, and I'm not putting them in it. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I put Victor Carantini at first base. Like, we've done enough. The Jose Abreu experiment needs to be dead and buried. And the only reason it isn't is because Crane does not want to accept that he made a terrible move in that offseason. And I fear that the hubris is going to make them continue to trot out a literal 080 batting average and 227 OPS player at first base for the rest of the year. Like, if you had an on base at 227, I'd be questioning, what are you even doing here? A 227 OPS. Like, there have been games where I've found a way to spin it into a positive. This one just isn't. There is nothing good out of it. It sucked, but I'm at a point right now where it's only game 13 of a 162 game season, and they are just so injury riddled already. I can't find myself anymore to be mad. It's awful. It sucks. I hated watching it. I was just itching for it to be over after not even an hour of actual game time. But it's only the 13th game. It is still incredibly early in the season. And until they start to get just a sliver bit healthier, I don't know how we can really critique and grade this team. Until they get a little bit healthier and do anything, I am begging and pleading with them. Do anything at first base that isn't Jose Abreu or John Singleton. Put Carantini there. Put Dubon there. Anyone. Put Chas McCormick at first base at this point. What is the worst that could happen? I just can't get... And I'm saying this now, I probably will get outlandishly mad before too long, because, you know, that's the kind of stuff that we do here. I just can't get out of my seat right now. It just kind of sucked. So now the Astros get a chance to desperately salvage something from this series in Kansas City. They play tomorrow afternoon at 2:10 Eastern, 1:10 Central. The Astros are going to send Hunter Brown to the mound, and the Royals are going to send Brady Singer to the mound. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, probably very later afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that's all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.